I wasn't going to cover K-pop demon hunters until I realized something almost every video misses. And you need to hear this. K-pop demon hunters has taken the world by storm. With stunning visuals, dangerously charming boy idols, catchy K-pop songs, and a story that blends ancient Korean tradition with modern culture, this Netflix animation has captivated audiences everywhere. People praise it for its artistic perfection, its cross-cultural storytelling, and its respectful portrayal of Korean aesthetics. From the cute tiger and magpie motifs to the fusion of Seoul's modern streets with Korea's traditional architecture. Many believe this show has single-handedly elevated Korea's global image, boosting interest in K-pop, tourism, food, beauty, and culture worldwide. Behind the scenes, it was produced in the US, distributed by Netflix, and warmly welcomed by Western families who see it as a safe alternative to Disney's what some feel are overly political children's shows. But beneath this beautifully drawn world lies something deeper and darker. In the story, the gates of hell are opened through K-pop itself. The reapers of the underworld transform into a stunning boy band, performing songs that lure the world into chaos. Their music, seductive and powerful, becomes a weapon to summon demonic forces. But the Bible warns us, even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. Here, the very idea of beauty and light becomes a mask of deception. The show visualizes the flames of hell spreading across the earth, not as a horror story, but as something exciting and empowering. At the core of this story lies a worldview that traces back to Korean shamanism. In ancient Korean belief, shamans would beat their drums and chant incantations, summoning and sending spirits during a ritual called gut, which is exorcism. In this animation, the act of guarding the spirit gate through rhythm and music mirrors the very practice, except it's repackaged in the language of pop culture and heroism. The demon hunters are, in essence, the shamans, spiritual mediators controlling the unseen realm. But now, shamanism has been dressed in neon lights, global music, and animation artistry, turning an ancient spiritual ritual into marketable entertainment. In Christian faith, Jesus said, "I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved." But this K-pop demon hunters subtly suggest something else. The humans themselves can guard or redeem the spiritual world by their own strength. That salvation or protection can come through one's power, not God's grace. This directly contrasts with the Christian message that we're not our own saviors. Even more striking is the symbolism of the main character, Rumi. She bears a mysterious mark or pattern, which in Korean shamanism symbolizes a person chosen by spirits to become a shaman. But in the story, this mark is reinterpreted as a sign of self-acceptance, a positive symbol of identity and empowerment. What once represented spiritual bondage is now reframed as liberation. Today, Christianity remains the largest religion in South Korea, with about 20% of the population identifying as Protestant. Yet, traces of shamanistic thinking still run deep. Many families still perform ancestral rites, visit fortune tellers, and choose wedding or moving dates based on spiritual omens. These customs show how deeply the old beliefs coexist with modern Korean life, often without people realizing their origins. So, what does this all mean? If you're a Christian parent, you probably already avoid letting your children celebrate Halloween, knowing it glorifies darkness under the guise of fun. In the same way, K-pop demon hunters may seem harmless, even inspiring, but its spiritual messages can subtly shape how children view truth, identity, and the supernatural. Remember, not everything wrapped in light carries truth. Sometimes it's the most beautiful songs that lead us astray. The war between light and darkness often comes disguised in beauty. What will you choose to believe? Before I wrap up this video, I want to share something important. Everything I've said so far comes from my perspective as a Christian, and it's shaped by a worldview grounded in the Bible. My intention was never to attack this animation or diminish its cultural value. In fact, there are many things about K-pop Demon Hunters that I genuinely appreciate and respect. First of all, the production quality is outstanding. The main OST, Golden, is beautifully written, musically sophisticated, and emotionally powerful. It captures the energy of K-pop while elevating it with incredible vocals and production. The animation style is also stunning, rich colors, smooth choreography, expressive character designs, and details that clearly reflect the hard work of incredibly talented artists. I also love the way the series features iconic Korean symbols such as the tiger and the magpie. They're cute, charming, and deeply connected to Korean identity. The blending of modern soul with traditional elements is visually striking and something that resonates with viewers both in Korea and abroad. It's no surprise that this project has helped introduce Korean culture, aesthetics, and K-pop artistry to new audiences around the world. So let me be very clear, I am not dismissing or criticizing any of that. However, when a piece of media becomes globally influential and is celebrated almost universally, I think it's meaningful for at least one person to pause and offer a different lens. Not to scare people, not to condemn, but simply to invite deeper reflection. Everyone else is already talking about the outstanding animation, the lovable characters, the catchy music, and the positive cultural impact, and those conversations are valid and important. But I believe it's equally valuable to consider the other side, the layer that may not be visible at first glance, the spiritual themes woven beneath the surface. Whether you're Christian or not, it's worth asking, what ideas is this story normalizing? What spiritual worldview is being illustrated here? The series portrays shamanism, spiritual intermediaries, and interactions with spirits as everyday, almost casual experiences. And again, I'm not saying this to demonize the creators or the viewers who enjoyed it, but from a Christian perspective, this is an area we are encouraged to approach thoughtfully, with discernment. Media doesn't have to be explicitly religious to influence how we think about spiritual things. You don't have to share my faith to reflect on this. You don't have to be a Christian to consider the possibility that certain spiritual concepts, especially those involving summoning, guiding, or partnering with unseen entities, shouldn't be taken lightly or consumed uncritically. Sometimes, even if the packaging is fun, beautiful, or emotionally moving, we can still ask ourselves deeper questions about the worldview behind it. So my message here isn't don't watch this or this show is bad. My message is simply think about it. Look beneath the surface. Enjoy the creativity and talent, but also be aware of the spiritual worldview it presents. As consumers of global media, especially in such a spiritually diverse world, it's healthy for us to be intentional about what we celebrate, what we internalize, and what we allow to shape the imagination of the next generation. If you're a Christian, I hope this helped you watch the series with a bit more discernment. And if you're not a Christian, I hope you still found this perspective interesting, thought-provoking, and respectful. At the end of the day, good arts invite conversation. And this is a conversation I wanted to bring to the table. Thanks for watching, as always.